I want to start with this Kool Moe Dee thing, man.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm flexible. So,
Do you have the list in front of you?
nah. I mean,
All right. Well, see. All right.
which
Let me.
one? Which one?
Well, I wanted to talk about both pages because the second page is the one that went viral, but page one to me was the more interesting thing, and I'm gonna let you know what stood out to me personally.
Okay.
Um, well, first of all, first page on the report card, Kool Moe Dee was rating MCs, and you know what? Let me actually give some context for the book as well. The book is called "There's a God on the Mic," and so there's a God on the mic. Let me get back on the camera real quick. There's a God on the mic. The True 50 Greatest MCs. In 2003, a book of old school hip hop. I'm sorry, a book by old school hip hop MC Kool Moe Dee, where he ranked what he believed to be the top 50 greatest MCs of all time, giving a breakdown of each artist. And his breakdown consists of vocabulary, articulation, creativity, originality, versatility, voice, records, stage presence, sticking to themes, innovating rhymes. Now, I'm on page one, like I said. Page two was the one that went viral. What sticks out to me on page one, first of all, do you see Big Daddy Kane on this list?
No.
I don't see Cool G Rap on this list either.
So, is there something against Juice Crew? Juice
I'm
Crew
not
and shit?
understanding how Kool Moe Dee leaves off.
The Shan's on there, isn't it? Shan on there, right?
Shan is on there, yes.
The Shan on there. Craig G on there.
No, Craig G's not on there.
Where's Cool
Um,
Moe Dee from again? Where's Cool Moe Dee from?
he's from Harlem.
Uptown.
Okay, so all right, before we get into the actual ratings of it all, I mean, again, I don't want to be an asshole and stickler, but this was a book that was actually published. So this wasn't something that was on the internet where it could have been some misprints, whatever, whatever. Um, how do you misspell Rakim's name? I don't understand that. I don't understand that. First of all, the biggest thing that blares at me is the fact that Big Daddy Kane is left off the list altogether. Cool G Rap is left off the list altogether, and Rakim's name is misspelled. Another thing that comes that sticks out to me as well is KRS-One, the teacher, has a 7 in vocabulary. What were some of the things that stuck out to you? And I got a little bit more, and we're just talking about page one. What stuck out to you guys in the chat? I want to know.
I'm gonna tell you what really stuck out to me on a personal level because we just saw Cool Moe Dee, Mike. Who did we see Cool Moe Dee
We
with,
just
Mike?
saw Kool Moe Dee performing with Big Daddy Kane, KRS-One, and Rakim.
Right. Now, who was the opener?
Kwame was the opener. Shout out to Kwame.
And after Kwame, it went to Moe Dee.
It did go to Moe Dee. Yeah, yeah. Shout out to Kwame. He was actually the one that invited us to that show
Right.
initially anyway. But yes, Kool Moe Dee did go. All right, so it was Kwame first, and then Kool Moe Dee went, and then Big Daddy Kane went and ripped shit up, to be perfectly honest. And then KRS came, ripped shit down again, and then Rakim came to close it out.
Right. So I say this to say that just from what we saw and from what I'm seeing, it feels as much of get off my lawnish in hip hop as get off my lawnish is gonna get. Because I mean, quite frankly, the only people that he really ranked high between both pages, if you'll see, is the people from his era, like Kaz and himself, Lauren Hill, Big and Pop.
Well, at this time, I think it's noteworthy that Big and Pac were gone, right?
Right.
Um, himself, Melle Mel, and Cass, obviously, he holds very high. And this is what I will say.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. This is what I will say. And Kane doesn't, not Kane, Kool Moe Dee doesn't get a lot of credit for this. That fast flow and just innovating the flow early on record and on wax and in the battle sense, that's all him. And you know what I'm saying? Like, now, if he gets originality points, and a 10 for that, or even a 10 in vocabulary just based on where he was in correlation to where everybody else was. I get that. I think that what sticks out to me about this first page in particular, let me go to this first page, is the fact that the changing of the guards, there's clearly some animosity, or at least there was in 2003, about the changing of the guards. And when we're talking about the changing of the guards, I'm talking about from Cass, Melle Mel, and Moe Dee to Rakim, KRS, obviously Big Daddy Kane and Kool G Rap aren't even on here. Because at the end of the day, when people talk about the best MCs of the 80s, who do we say are the four-headed monsters? Who do we say are the Mount Rushmores of the MCs in the 80s?
Oh, yeah, that's Kane, Kool G Rap, KRS-One, and Rakim.
And they all got slighted on this list. Kool G Rap and Kane aren't even on here. Rakim's name is misspelled, and KRS gets a 7 in vocabulary. What did he give him on stage? He gave KRS-One a 9 on stage presence, which is great, as you should.
Not the 10 it should be.
It's not the 10 it should be. I think we all are very clear on the fact that KRS-One is the best performer in hip-hop. Either him or Kane.
Kane has made me think twice after seeing him live and seeing the verses this year.
I'm with that too. But why is Kane not on the list at all?
Well, okay, so let's see. Let's really highlight what he really did. Mm-hmm. He put his era. He did what most people from their era do. He put his era up high, and then he put the next era slightly below. Because if you look right below, like literally at the top, it says Kool Moe Dee, Melle Mel, Kaz, 95, 95, 94. Then you get the LL, 90. Rakim, 91. KRS, 90. It's like, hold on. No, and no disrespect to Kaz, Melle Mel, or Kool Moe Dee. I mean, first of all, Melle Mel to me is the best of the three. If I was picking one, he would be who I would rate the highest. But give Rakim a 91? I mean, and I know we're talking about a 91, but you gave yourself a 95 and you gave Rakim?
KRS-One, actually, you remember the tale about KRS-One jumping on stage, or no, I think it was vice versa. KRS-One was on stage, Melle Mel came on stage and wanted to battle him, and KRS-One dusted him. That's what the story is. But
I mean,
and this was like 80, like, this was in the 80s, 87-ish, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I think
there are very few people ever that could ever step to KRS-One. It don't matter what year it is and not get dusted off.
You seen this man on stage?
A lot.
So yeah, you step on stage right there with KRS in that big voice while you got songs like The Bridge Is Over and he's hitting you with that wah-da-da-dang stuff. Like, yeah, it's not going to look good for you. But yeah, I've been told that happened and that was real. And it's hard to think that there wouldn't be, I mean, there's got to be a solidarity, right, between some of those pioneers. And I'm sure they felt the way about that. And again, this list is like over about 20 years old now. So I'm sure that was a little fresher, but I just don't.
Mike, how can you have Rakim and KRS's vocabulary at an 8 and a 7 respectively? Like, I just don't understand.
How do you have T. La Rock's vocabulary as a 10? Maybe I'm too young to understand, but I've heard it's yours. But again, we might be doing this on a scale where it's like this is based on what the vocabulary was at that time. Commentating, illustrating. Yeah, it was crazy. Right. He was going in for that time, but to have a higher vocabulary than Rakim, I don't know, man.
I just don't understand it. Just, like I said, that's the part about it that makes it feel like it's get off my lawn, because it's like, well, I really don't understand. You know?
I think, again, kind of like what we were saying off camera, is that's why, and I say this respectfully, sometimes artists need to kind of step outside of, that part of rating the culture, because clearly there's a bias that lives. I mean, I think that fans are biased enough. And I think we all have a generational bias. You kind of touched on that when you were talking about the Gunna situation and how people gravitate to that. Everybody is going to hold their era high. But when you have actual artists from a certain era, they're not going to give other eras the credit that they deserve, clearly.
I mean, I want you to understand something. According to his ratings, because correct me if I'm wrong, Jay-Z got an 82. He got Spoonie G and Jay rated the same. What are we doing?
Well, all right. Since we're going to talk about Jay-Z, he's the first person on this second half of the list.
Send me that list right quick, Mike.
Let me send it to you.
Can you send me the second one?
I've
seen it a bunch this week. I just, you know how I'd be. I'd be like,
No, it's cool. I'm gonna send it to you right now. But all right. So Jay-Z's stage presence being a 6.
It's very problematic.
I mean, this is 2003.
Arguably the most charismatic person to ever, like, you know what I mean, do this. So he has inherent stage presence because he has like presence about him. So,
I mean, even if you want to give it to his songs having presence, his songs have presence enough. Like 2003, You Don't Know was out. I don't know if at the time was Public Service Announcement out, but Give It To Me was out. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jay was hitting big stages. He had done the Hard Knock Life tour. He had done the Jay-Z and Friends tour. I don't know, man. Appreciate the super chat from Reggie Noble out there. We also got our Cash App out there too, if y'all want to rock with us on that. It's just according the number 2 hip hop on Cash App. We appreciate that.
What I'm saying. This is why I went to Jay, because it's like you got Jay at a 7 for versatility.
Yeah, let me acknowledge Reggie Noble's super chat again, man. 1999 from Reggie Noble. He said, "Hippo character falling off." Let me see. A hippo character falling off to the ground in a dramatic way, bursting tears with the words "epic fail" in the background. Yeah, go ahead. Cool. What were you about to say?
No, I mean, you got Jay's vocabulary at a 7, and his versatility at a 7, and his stage presence at a 6. I mean, Mike.
Articulation at a 9. I think that honestly, that's one of Jay's strong points. His articulation.
I mean, I'll say this first of all. The only thing for me that I think I would rate Jay lower than an 8 at on any day would be the voice, Mike. I told you he has the worst voice to me of all the great rappers. I would give that. You know what I'm saying? I would give that a 7. Everything else is getting at least an 8, and that's Jay. I mean, and I'm only bringing up Jay because I know we've been spending a lot of time talking about Nas. You know what I'm saying? And how he's been slighted. But when I see something like that at the top of the list, it's like, how you going to give Jay an 82 and 03? Or even a 99, Mike?
And you know what? That's interesting you say it like that. Let's put it in context. This is 03, right? So Jay's run at that point had been Reasonable Doubt, Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, The Dynasty, The Blueprint 2, and the Black Album. We don't know if the Black Album was out yet. Actually, this book dropped November 20th, 2003. So it's safe to say the Black Album wasn't out yet. It was a similar time, right? But anyway, with that being said, that's an unprecedented run in hip hop at that time. And lyrically, Jay kept taking it there, and he showed you his abilities on his first album. So, right. I mean, so it's not like the skill set and that level is not there. To give him a 7 on vocabulary, 7 on versatility, because even if you don't like the changes that Jay made to his style, you at least got to give him points on versatility, right?
I mean, and this is so subjective, Mike. I want you to understand something, because this is what I remember about it. DMX, Lauryn Hill, Method Man, and Biggie are the only people who got 10s for voices. And I'm okay with all of those being 10s for voices, because those are 10s on voices. Mm-hmm. But so is Snoop, Mike.
What did Snoop get on voice?
Got a 9.
Snoop got a 9 on voice. Okay.
What are we doing? Like, that's an easy 10. It's Snoop, Mike. You know it, you knew it from the first time you heard it. It's like, who is that? That's Snoop Doggy Dogg. And you knew it like from there on in.
Let me ask you this, and I'm just pulling this out because it sticks out to me. Buckshot getting a 9 of vocabulary and Jay getting a 7.
I mean, and I love Buckshot.
And I
But
love
Buckshot,
Buckshot.
he wasn't a complex wordsmith. Dope MC loved Buckshot, but he wasn't a complex wordsmith. He didn't put words together like Jay did. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I mean, I mean, we're gonna have to point to a piece of work from Buckshot that rivals Reasonable Doubt when we're talking about lyricism.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, did he have him over him on versatility too?
Who?
Yeah, he did.
What?
Buckshot has a 8 on versatility,
Mm-hmm.
where Jay has a 7.
Right. I mean, it's a little all over the place. I want you to understand, like, Canibus is rated higher than Nas and Jay on here, according to Kool Moe Dee.
Let's look at Canibus, right?
Right.
Okay, first of all, let's talk about Canibus and where this was at that point. I mean, I don't know if Kool Moe Dee and LL had made up and all that stuff, but as far as the fact that Canibus went at LL and it turned out the way it did, do you not think that maybe Kool Moe Dee has a kind of a soft spot for Canibus in that way too, outside of him just being a dope lyricist bar for bar?
Well, let's unpack the Canibus thing. So,
Okay.
he gets a 10 for vocabulary, 9 for articulation, 9 for creativity, originality, and an 8 for versatility. Stop. Did what? Gave him I get the vocabulary and articulation. Creativity, originality, and versatility? You think he's above an 8 or better at all those things?
I'll say
Because very few MCs in the history of rap to me, Mike, are above an 8 at all 3 of those things specifically. Creativity, originality, and versatility. All 3 of those, you think he's above an 8? Canibus?
I think Canibus' Achilles heel was the lack of versatility, honestly. Me as, at that time, especially like trying to rap and, just being fascinated by rap, it was like I could listen to a Canibus album because I knew that it was coming from a battle rapper's perspective. And if you want to hear battle rap, boom, 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 like from track to track to track, this is the album for you. But if you want to hear versatility, lyrically or just musically, I don't think Canibus is the artist for you.
Right.
I mean, because when I think versatility, and even if you're thinking on a versatility on a more musical aspect, let's just say you don't really rock with what Jay was doing, as far as like changing with the times and doing popish stuff. Okay, versatility is also DMX being able to do How's It Going Down, doing Get At Me Dog, doing Stop Being Greedy, you know what I'm saying, doing Damien. That's versatility. Versatility is Mos Def out here doing Umi Says, doing Miss Fat Booty, doing Brooklyn. That's versatility right there. What did you give those people when it comes to versatility? Let's see, Mos Def. And he misspelled Mos Def's name too, but I'm not gonna be like that.
Mos Def's versatility,
He gave him an 8.
versatility are the same, according to this.
Okay.
They're both 8.
They're both 8.
So this is why now, and Mike, and we're about to do it in a minute. This is why the media exists, though, because you can't trust your peers to rate things fairly and properly. Everybody has their biases, even if they're respected within a circle and a sphere.
Yeah.
That's why I brought up the fact that we just saw Kool Moe Dee right next to KRS and Kane and Rakim. Like, we just saw it, but you see how Kane wasn't even on there, and you see how KRS and Rakim got slighted because they came right after. And so you just have to be mindful about these things. And that's why we, even though we are media, have been getting on the other media about how they're covering things, because we have a responsibility. And this is kind of proof of the responsibility about why you need to handle things fairly and objectively and unbiasedly. Because, Mike, after you heard Reasonable Doubt, there's nobody that really knows rap that should think Jay deserves less than a 90 on as an overall grade for an MC on anything. Like if you were to hear Reasonable Doubt and give him anything less than an A for MC performance, like on all accounts, you wouldn't be being honest. And so the fact that he's getting 82 and this is in the midst of his run,
I think the big point for me, as far as like when you talk about Reasonable Doubt specifically, Vocabulary,
Not better than Mo.
vocabulary is what Reasonable Doubt is held high for. Because as far as like vocabulary alone, he was rapping using words that not his other peers weren't using. Biggie included at the time. You know what I'm saying? I think Nas separated himself because Nas is painting pictures and Nas is just gifted in that way. But if you want to talk about sheer lyricism and vocabulary, that's where Jay basically separated himself. And honestly, that's why Reasonable Doubt got slept on to a certain degree because of how extensive his vocabulary was.
I
So
was
for
about
his
to say.
vocabulary to be a 7, there's bias there. That's just not. I'm
I
sorry.
mean, listen. Okay, listen to what I'm about to say. Cool G rap uses more words than Jay uses, but Jay's vocabulary is more expansive than Cool G raps, and Reasonable Doubt is kind of the proof because it's a lot of Cool G rap talk on there. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
That's
It's an
why
evolution.
you hear Jay, like you'll hear Jay reference G rap more than anybody else because he kind of really knows where like the substance and the content like play off like comes from. Like Reasonable Doubt is so vocabulary heavy, Mike.
Yeah.
Like where he's putting words together in Hustler's context that you never heard other Hustler MCs put those words together, including G-Rap.
Yo, we got 155 people in the room, so I'm gonna go ahead and repeat everything that we're gonna talk about in this show because people are putting in a bunch of different subjects. We're gonna talk about that Pete Rock and Nas thing. We're gonna talk about the Pitchfork media review of Nas's Magic album. We're gonna talk about this Fabulous and Andre 3000 debate. Right now, we're talking about this Kool Moe Dee list or the report card from his 2003 book. Also, I saw somebody in there asking where they could get the hoodie. I think that the link should be in the description. If not, we'll get that to you in a minute. And, you know, we got our Cash App up here for people that want to rock with that. What were you about to say, Coop?
No, I'm just like looking at Black Thought. He has Black Thought ahead of Nas and Jay in 03. And it's like, I mean, in some levels, it's like, yeah, I get you. But on a whole lot of levels, no.
Let's look at Nas, right? Let's look at his rating because some people in the chat wanted to talk about that.
Very problematic.
All right, so Nas, he has 10 on vocabulary. I think
and that's pretty much it. And then he just gave him 8s pretty much.
8 on articulation. I definitely disagree with that. 8 on creativity.
Originality? Mike, this is a guy who said he saw a dead bird flying through a broken sky once.
8 on originality. 9 on versatility. 8 on voice. 8 on records. 8 on stage presence. 8 on sticking to a theme.
Nobody like what
and 8 on rhyme innovate. Ho. I want to know what sticking to a theme actually is. Then
nobody sticks to a theme like he does.
That's just once again, just like with Jay in the vocabulary, sticking to a theme is Nas's strongest attribute. Period. That's why he's held high as a storyteller. You know, I got Nas third. I got Nas third on storytelling, right? But and I have him even that high because of his ability to stick with whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like
whatever he's talking about, he's going to finish it.
I only have Scarface and Ghostface ahead of him as storytelling, and I mean that's because they just hit you a little different. They stylistically are able to do certain things. But if anybody said Nas was better, I wouldn't have no problem with that.
I think both of them, Ghost and Scarface, are more compelling storytellers, but not better. They don't have those lists of story records like Nas has. But I get what you're talking about with the feeling, because when they tell you a story, it hits you different.
Oh yeah, man. Now I feel you, and you know, All That I Got Is You hits you different.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Nas stuff sometimes it is like Donald Goines meets Langston Hughes. It's like really entertaining, but it's articulate and well written and diverse. You know what I mean? So it's like it's a different vibe.
Yeah. Sticking to a theme being an 8. I want to know. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. Let's go to who. Okay, Kool Moe Dee has given himself a 10 on sticking to a theme. Melle Mel gets a 10 on sticking to a theme, and Grandmaster Cass gets 10 on sticking to a theme. He actually gave KRS-One a 10 on sticking to the theme. He
Those are
gave
the
the
homies.
Fat Boys a theme, a 10 on sticking with the theme. Can't even talk.
Actually, Fat Boys are great at sticking to
No,
things.
they are.
To their records, yeah. I'm
Houdini.
actually with them on that.
Houdini gets a 10 for sticking with the theme. Beastie Boys get a 10.
Hold on. Can we talk about that right quick? First of all, sticking to the theme was much easier in those days because you weren't making as many records. That's one thing. So all of those guys are inherently kind of really, really solid at that because that was the game. You had to kind of find your groove, find your niche, pick your record, stick to the theme of the record.
Right. One love is one love. You know what I'm saying?
What do you want?
Friends.
Friends.
How many of us have them?
Mike, what are we playing? Basketball.
Yeah.
Okay. Got you.
You know?
Good. Let's go.
Christmas rap, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's what it is. You know, I want to get back to this first page. I know we're skipping around a little bit, but I don't think I covered this. Maybe we talked about this offline. One of the biggest problems, I got a lot of problems with this list. You got Public Enemy, a 7 on stage presence. What the hell are we talking about? You talking about S1W? Like, you talking about Flavor Flav? You got the greatest.
Flavor alone is a 10, Mike. Flavor Flav on stage is a 10.
Flavor Flav on stage alone is the 10. And then we're sitting here adding Professor Griff. And they had a whole army up there, man.
Right? This Chuck D on the mic live on stage, like with Flav behind him.
I'm not even counting Chuck D. And Chuck D is probably the most powerful voice in hip hop. But even outside of him, you talking about stage presence and you put the group Public Enemy, you got DJs, you got a security team, and you got Flav, and then you got Chuck's Voice Radio. Come on, man. What was that?
Mike.
7?
You got a whole movement when they get on stage.
7? That's
on.
Disrespectful, man.
I don't know what's going on.
That's disrespectful.
I knew you were going to bring it up. I was trying not to even talk about
it. No, man. You got a group that made Fight the Power, man. You got a group that goes out there and does songs like Welcome to the Terror Dome. And you talk about their stage presence as a 7? A 7?
And this is after their reign and their run, Mike. Like
after everything, after all the DVDs we done seen, after all the live performances we've seen, you giving Public Enemy a 7?
Mike, the quote Public Enemy, can't trust him.
Man, for real, man. To me, like I said, the biggest thing on this list to me, and I know a lot of people are harping on the second page and with Mystical being ranked higher than Jay-Z or whatever. And shout out to Mystical. I think Mystical is incredibly original. But the biggest thing to me is Big Daddy Kane being left off this list. And you know, I'll put that right there with Kool G Rap. Kool G Rap and Kane being left off this list. Public Enemy being a 7 in performance.
How do you No, Mike, but for real, how do you document the history of hip hop and go through the 80s and just like kind of like conveniently not rate G Rap or Kane? Like, how do you do that? It's like that's not like Mike. That's not like a needle gap. That's like a portal gap.
Well, the list. Well, the book is about. Once again, I'll repeat this for the people who weren't here earlier. The book is from Kool Moe Dee's book from 2003. There's a guide on the mic. The true 50 greatest MCs. So I guess they're not included in the 50 greatest MCs. Said in 2003, the book by old school hip hop MC Kool G Rap, Kool Moe Dee, where he ranked what he believes to be the top 50 greatest MCs of all time, giving each artist a breakdown. So based on this book that was published, and it wasn't like some list that we put on the internet that people might, oh man, I forgot about this, or us even doing a live. This is something that was published. Had a publisher, you had time to write this, you left Big Daddy Kane and Kool G Rap off of your top 50 MCs list. And then you misspelled Rakim's name too.
Puffy's on here. You understand that?
Puffy is on there. Well, Puffy did make a song in Spanish. You remember he did Public Enemy #1 in Spanish? Yo soy bad boy familia. Listen, man. Puffy's on the list and Big Daddy Kane's not on the list, man.
I'm gonna go
Because
to
you
the
know
next
what?
topic.
What happened was, man, I'm sitting here. I think I was going down the list and I saw that Public Enemy got 7 in stage performance. And I was like, because again, you and I saw Kool Moe Dee, Kane, KRS, and Rakim. And I was like, live, that is. I was thinking, like, okay, well, shit, I wonder what he gave Kane for live stage performance. I'm like, wait a minute. Kane ain't even on here.
I mean, Mike, if you actually look,
And Master P. Yes, somebody said, yeah, Puffy and Master P.
If you actually look on the second report card, Nas and Jay actually have 2 of the lower grades on here.
Of course. Of course.
Next topic.
Of course. You know, again, man, this reeks of. It's like when you see different eras of NBA stars trying to downplay certain players.
It's very problematic.
That we know are dope. Some people got the ammo to do that. Wilt Chamberlain could say whatever the fuck he wanted to say, and you just got to eat it. But certain people don't need to be speaking on Michael Jordan. Certain people don't need to be speaking on LeBron James. It just is what it is.
It's very problematic with what it is.
You know, so I mean, I know we could go on and on about this, and I know we're going to get to the next topic because, I mean, we got a lot of stuff to cover today, really, but...
We need to get to the next topic.
Oh, there's some other things that jump out to you because...
No, Mike, we could literally do a whole show unpacking all of this. That's what I'm saying. This is like, if we keep on doing this, we just don't keep on going to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing.
Well, how do you feel about Sticky Fingers having a higher grade than Jay-Z?
The way that I should. I think it's an atrocity.
Does he have a higher grade than Nas too? He probably does. Because Nas's grade is
an 88.
Yeah. Sticky Fingers has an 88.
I mean, he thinks Sticky Fingers is better than Raekwon and Common. And Mose. And Thought.
Wow.
And Corrupt. Feel me? That's what I'm saying. Like, we could dissect this all day. We'd be here all day. I like that Tretch was rated so high. I think you and I had the behind-the-scenes conversation earlier this week about Tretch. Like, there are some highlights, like Tretch being rated that high. I really like that for Tretch. He doesn't often get his flowers. Top-notch MC and lyricist.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I mean, Tretch is amazing. I wish that, I wish we could have got more. Hold on. What did Pot get? Okay, Pot got a 9 in vocabulary, 10 articulation. He only got a 8 in innovating rhymes. Okay, huh?
The guy who made Dear Mama doesn't make innovating rhymes.
But you know what that is, though. That's that whole lyrical. That's that whole criticism that Pac gets because he doesn't do that lyrical miracle hip hop.
You're right. He does Dear Mama and So Many Tears. And
you know who else is off of this list? Speaking of which,
I ain't mad at you.
You see Scarface on here?
Pour out a little liquor. Mike, I told you we would be here all day. I was trying not to touch that.
You see Scarface on here?
See, no face mob. You already know I'm pissed.
So Mace is in his top 50, yet he has a 79.
Made the diary.
Master P is there, but he has a 76.
And the fix.
Yeah. Listen, all right. I want to end this. I want to end this topic with this. There is a reason why the people and what we're doing right now is so powerful. Why the people need to collectively make these decisions and these type of lists, because when you leave it up to one person, no matter how great or impactful they are, there's an individual bias there. Reggie said, "Where's Rakim?" Rakim was on page 1 and he misspelled his name. It's right here. I want to go to this Rakim rating real quick and we can leave. 8 in vocabulary, 10 in articulation, 10 in creativity, 9 in originality, 8 in versatility, 10 in voice, 10 in record, 7 in stage presence, 9 in sticking to a theme, and 10 in innovative rhymes. He got Rakim in the vocabulary department. He got him there, and he got him in versatility. I don't understand how he has an 8 in versatility and Canibus has an 8 in versatility. One man made Paid in Full
Mahogany.
and My
Maybe
Melody
Mahogany.
and Ghetto and Mahogany. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe Mahogany.
Yeah.
The lady, you've seen an all world cover girl. Yeah, that's Rakim.
Well, you know what, man? I love the internet and the fact that
Rakim loves Moe Dee.
who?
Rakim loves Moe Dee.
Oh yeah, of course he does.
Inspirations, yeah.
I want to give a shout out to the blogger who actually got this thing going viral. Let me find her name real quick because I always love to give people credit, man.